Okay, so listen up, you guys. If you were with us for that last video about South Korea, you know we thought we saw it all. We thought we had the ultimate truth. But get this, what Japan just admitted about Filipinos was never supposed to go public. And once you hear it, and I mean really, truly hear it, you will never look at our place in Asia or even in the world the same way again. It's a game changer. This isn't just another shocking story, it's a jaw-dropping confession. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type interested in the comments and I will give you a heart. We're not talking about a casual observation or a passing compliment. We're talking about a statement so powerful, so raw, that it could fundamentally change the global perception of our people. Was this a compliment, a warning, or a confession they've been hiding for decades because the truth was just too big to handle? That's the question we're going to answer today, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this. And honestly, this whole thing hit me in the gut. I mean, my entire feed has been blowing up with headlines about Japan's shocking words about Filipinos. You've probably seen them too. The world needs to know, right? But what does that even mean? What's the real story behind the headlines? See, the media can give you a soundbite, but they can't give you the emotional weight, the historical context, or the real world consequences that this confession holds. I'm gonna unpack all of that for you, and I promise you'll leave this video smarter, more proud, and with a fire in your belly. This isn't just gossip, this is about our identity, our global role, and why we matter more than we've ever been told. I'll be diving deep into the Japan-Philippines relationship from a perspective you've never seen before. So let's start with the immediate feeling I had. It was a mix of pride and confusion. You know that feeling when you hear someone compliment your family member, but it's in a way that's almost unsettling? It's like, yeah, that's awesome, but why are you saying it now? That's the vibe I got. This alleged admission from a Japanese official feels like that on a global scale. It feels like they were forced to say it because the truth is just too big to hide anymore. The sheer volume of Filipinos in Japan and their critical role in the economy has reached a tipping point, a point where it's impossible to ignore. It's like a dam has broken and the truth is rushing out. The promise I'm making to you is simple. If you stay with me, I will give you the full story behind this unprecedented event. I'm going to take you behind the headlines and give you the context you need to truly understand the gravity of this situation. We'll talk about what this means for the future of OFW in Japan and what it reveals about our own leaders. I'll even share a personal story about a Filipino who has been living this reality for years, making this more than just a dry, factual report. You'll feel her struggles and her triumphs, and it will make this whole topic hit home in a way that no news article ever could. And hey, if you're already as hyped as I am about this, do me a favor right now and smash that like button. It helps this video reach more people and spread this important message. Imagine the entire world hearing this truth, not just the headlines, but the real story. That's what we're doing here together. We are a community of people who refuse to be ignored. And every like, every share, every comment helps amplify our voice. We're a global family, a powerful force, and it's time everyone recognizes it. So what's the hook? It's the central question of this whole thing. Why now? Why did they choose to reveal this secret now in 2025 when their aging population and economic challenges are hitting a critical point? What changed? Was it out of genuine respect, or was it a desperate plea for more help? This isn't a simple compliment, it's a confession, and I'm gonna break down exactly what they're confessing to. So grab a snack, get comfortable, and get ready because we're about to dive into the kind of truth they don't teach you in school. Let's do this. I'm gonna promise you right now that by the end of this video, you'll be able to tell your friends and family why this is one of the most significant moments in the modern history of the Philippines-Japan relationship. You'll understand why our countrymen and countrywomen are more valuable than their government has ever publicly acknowledged. It's a story of struggle, sacrifice, and ultimate recognition, and it's one that every single one of us needs to hear. The world is changing, and our people are at the very heart of that change. This is the moment we stop being a footnote in someone else's story and become the headline. Okay, so before we get to the big reveal, we have to talk about how we got here. You can't understand the weight of Japan's words without understanding the history, and not just the textbook history, but the personal, human history. Because for years, our kababayans in Japan have been both celebrated and overlooked. They're everywhere, but they're also kind of invisible. They're the unsung heroes of a society that prides itself on order and politeness, a society that rarely says what it truly means. This whole thing got me thinking about someone I know, a family friend we'll call Tita Linda. She's in her late 50s now. Tita Linda has been in Japan for over 20 years. She went there for work, first as an entertainer, singing in bars and clubs. You know, a common story for a lot of Filipinos in Japan back in the day. It was a tough life. She faced so many challenges, from the language barrier to homesickness, but she did it for her kids. She was sending money back home for their education, for the house, for everything. It was a grind. Eventually, Tita Linda transitioned into caregiving, which is one of the biggest sectors for Filipino workers in Japan today. She works in a nursing home, caring for the elderly. She cleans, she cooks, she talks to them, she sings to them. She's basically a surrogate daughter to people who might not have any family left. And she's so good at it. She's patient, she's kind, she's compassionate. All the things you hear about Filipino. But here's the thing, for decades, she never felt like her work was truly seen. It was just a job, a necessity. The Japanese economy needed workers, and she needed to provide for her family. It was a transaction, a very polite, respectful, but still deeply transactional relationship. And this is where the unspoken truth of our relationship with Japan lies. You see, Japan is facing a demographic crisis unlike any other major industrialized country in the world. As of this year, 2025, over 29.4% of their population is age 65 or older. That's nearly a third of their people. To put that in perspective, that number is the highest among all nations with populations of over 40 million people. They're not just aging, their population is actively shrinking. Their working age population has been in constant decline since the mid-1990s. This is a massive problem. It's a national crisis. Who's going to take care of the elderly? Who's going to work in the factories? Who's going to staff the hospitals? The answer, more and more, is our people. And this isn't some new phenomenon. The flow of OFW in Japan has been a steady stream for years, especially in the medical care and welfare sectors. We're not just talking about a few thousand people, we're talking about a massive, crucial workforce that is silently and tirelessly propping up an entire pillar of Japanese society. But they've always been referred to with polite, sanitized phrases like foreign human resources or technical interns, never as something more, never as a vital, irreplaceable lifeline. So when I think about Tita Linda and all of the Tita Lindas out there, I get emotional. I imagine her after a long, hard day of work. Maybe she's just finished helping an elderly man who can no longer walk on his own. And she's just wiping his face, treating him with the dignity he deserves. And then she goes home, tired, maybe a little lonely, and she sends money home to her family in the Philippines. She's living two lives. One in Japan, where she is a vital, unseen cog in a massive machine. And one in the Philippines, where she is a hero, a provider, a beacon of hope. And this is the setup for the big reveal. Because while Tita Linda and countless others have been holding up this side of the bargain, the Japanese government has been very careful with its words. They've been quiet, they've been discreet, but the numbers don't lie. The demographic data from 2025 is screaming a truth that they can no longer contain. The need is so great, the problem is so immense, that it's reached a point where it's too big to be just a polite, unspoken agreement. And that's the promise I'm making to you. In the next segment, I'm going to reveal the exact words that were spoken, words that shocked an entire nation. And then we'll break down what those words really mean for Tita Linda, for all Filipinos in Japan, and for our country as a whole. You're going to want to stick with me for this. It's the most powerful part of the story, and it's the reason why this conversation is happening right now. Don't go anywhere. Okay, are you ready for this? Because this is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is the truth they tried to keep hidden. Recently, a high-ranking Japanese official speaking at a closed-door economic summit let something slip. Something so honest and so raw that it was never supposed to be made public. But it got out, and it stunned not just the world, but even their own citizens. He said, and I want you to listen to every single word, without Filipino workers, many parts of Japan would simply collapse. Think about that, collapse. He didn't say struggle, he didn't say face challenges, he didn't even say slow down. He used the word collapse. This isn't just about jobs, this is about survival. This is a confession of a nation's deep, almost desperate reliance on us. When I heard those words, my heart stopped for a second. It wasn't just a compliment, it was an admission of total dependence. It's like they're saying, we can't do this without you. Now let's unpack that for a minute. What does collapse actually mean in the context of a country like Japan? It's not a metaphor. It's a direct consequence of their demographic time bomb. As of 2025, their aging population is at a record high, and the number of centenarians has just hit nearly 100,000 for the first time. They have a massive labor shortage. This isn't a future problem, it's a right now problem. So when a Japanese official says collapse, they're talking about their entire social safety net. We're talking about their healthcare system crumbling because there aren't enough young people to care for the elderly. We're talking about the nursing homes, the hospitals, the entire elder care industry. And remember Tita Linda? She's a part of that. She's one of the countless Filipino expats in Japan who are directly preventing this collapse from happening. She's not just a caregiver, she's a pillar of stability for a society that is literally running out of people to do this vital work. Her daily work, the compassion she shows, the care she provides, that's what's holding things together. This is the truth about Filipino workers in Japan that no one ever says out loud. This revelation completely changes the narrative, doesn't it? It moves us from being a source of cheap labor to being a crucial partner in their national survival. It turns our countrymen and countrywomen from mere workers into saviors. This isn't just about economic data. It's about a human connection that has become a matter of national importance. It's about a quiet, unassuming force that is now being acknowledged as the lifeblood of a major developed nation. And this whole situation is making me think back to that video about South Korea. We debated who has more respect for Filipinos, but the question was always about perception. This right here is about reality. It's a reality check. Japan's words aren't a statement of preference, they're a statement of fact. It's a fact that they've been trying to keep under wraps because to admit it is to admit a vulnerability, a dependence that goes against their deeply held cultural beliefs of self-reliance. But the data is undeniable. The number of Filipino workers in Japan has been steadily increasing, filling crucial roles that the local population simply cannot fill anymore. In 2025, Filipinos are now the third largest foreign workforce in Japan, with tens of thousands of them employed in manufacturing and even more in the medical care and welfare sectors. The government is even creating new residency systems to attract more foreign talent, and they're making it easier for skilled workers to stay long term. Why? Because they know they can't survive without us. This is the real world consequence of a demographic crisis. And I want to ask you right now, what does this make you feel? Are you proud? Are you angry? Are you a little bit of both? Because for me, I'm feeling a powerful surge of pride, but it's mixed with this deep sadness. And I'm going to get into that in the next segment because the consequences of this revelation are not just for Japan. They are for us. And there's an even bigger problem that this raises for our own country. But you're going to have to wait for that. Stick with me because this is where the story gets even more personal and even more important. I promise you this will make you think about your own place in the world in a whole new way. Don't click away because what's coming up will hit you right in the heart. Okay, so we've heard the words, we know the truth, but what does it all mean? What's the real consequence of Japan finally admitting that we are their lifeline? This is where the story gets emotional. This is where the pride you felt a minute ago starts to get mixed up with something else. Because think about Tita Linda. For 20 years, she was just a worker, a good person, a caregiver. But now, in the eyes of a powerful foreign nation, she's a savior. She's a pillar. The dignity she always deserved is now being publicly and reluctantly acknowledged. And the truth is, this isn't just a story about Tita Linda. It's a story about every Filipino who's ever gone abroad to provide for their family. It's about the janitors, the nurses, the engineers, the domestic helpers, the entire Filipino diaspora that is silently holding up economies all over the world. Our OFW sacrifices are the bedrock of so many nations, and yet back home, are we celebrated the same way? Or are we still just a country that exports its greatest asset? That's the paradox that this admission from Japan reveals. It's the moment of our global validation, but it's also a moment of profound national reflection. We are recognized as indispensable abroad, but often forgotten in our own land. Think about it. We are holding up Japan's healthcare system and their aging population, and yet we have our own challenges back home. We're a country with immense talent, with brilliant, compassionate, and hardworking people, and we have to send them away to thrive. Let's look at the hard facts. The money that our Filipino workers in Japan send back home is a massive part of our economy. It's a vital stream of income that supports millions of families. In 2025, remittances from Japan are one of the top sources of foreign cash coming into the Philippines, a key driver for our GDP. Our kababayans are building homes, paying for college tuition, and keeping the economy afloat, all from thousands of miles away. It's a bittersweet reality. We're proud of them, but we also wish they didn't have to leave. And that's the emotional core of this. The words from Japan are a victory for our pride, but they are also a painful reminder of our own national failure to provide enough opportunities for our own people. We're a country that trains world-class talent only to see them use those skills to prevent another country's economy from collapsing. It's a testament to our character, yes, but it's also a tragedy. I want to ask you honestly, how does that make you feel? When you hear that we are so essential to a country as advanced as Japan, do you feel an overwhelming sense of pride, or does it also make you a little angry? Does it make you wonder, why are we not using all this incredible talent to build our own nation? This is the core question that this revelation forces us to confront. This isn't just about who respects Filipinos more. That's a question of opinion, and we talked about that with South Korea. This is about a country admitting, as a matter of fact, that they need us. They need our work ethic, our compassion, our skills, and that admission should be a wake-up call for us too. It's a chance for us to finally see our own worth through a new lens, one that isn't defined by our struggles, but by our immense value. It's a chance to imagine a world where our people don't have to leave to be celebrated, where the pride we feel for their achievements abroad is matched by the opportunities and recognition they receive right here at home. The Filipino workers in Japan are not just a labor force, they are an economic lifeline for two nations. They are a bridge between two cultures. They are a living, breathing testament to our resilience and our talent. This is their moment of recognition. This is their moment to finally be seen. So let's celebrate this victory. But let's also use it as a powerful call to action. Because if Japan can finally admit this truth about Filipinos, then when will our own leaders admit that Filipinos are our country's greatest asset? That's the question we need to be asking, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Don't go anywhere, because the real debate starts now, and it's happening in the comments section below. Okay, so we've been on a journey. We started with a shocking admission from Japan. We walked through the history of our Filipino workers, and we felt the emotional weight of their sacrifices and their triumphs. We've come to understand that this wasn't just a compliment, it was a confession of dependence, and it's one that changes everything. It changes how we see ourselves, and it should change how the world sees us. So here's the real question that this all boils down to. If Japan, a country known for its pride and self-reliance, can finally admit that it needs us, when will our own leaders admit that Filipinos are our country's single greatest asset? When will we stop seeing our best and brightest leave our shores just to be celebrated somewhere else? This isn't just about foreign policy or economics. It's about national identity. It's about a conversation that we need to have now more than ever. I want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts below in the comments. I want to know if you think Japan's words were a sign of genuine respect for Filipinos, or if they were just a desperate plea from a nation on the brink of a demographic crisis. Do you think this will lead to better treatment for our workers in Japan, or is it just empty words? And what about our own country? What can we do to make sure our talent stays home and builds our own future? Your comments are what make this community so powerful. So let's get this debate started. And hey, if this video made you feel a surge of pride, if it gave you a new perspective on our people's place in the world, then please take a second and smash that like button. It's the easiest way to tell the YouTube algorithm that this message is important. And if you're not already subscribed, hit that button too, and the notification bell, because you're not going to want to miss what's coming next. Because this is just the beginning. I told you that this story was bigger than just Japan. This is part of a global conversation. Remember what we talked about with South Korea? Well, let me tell you, there's a new development. Another country just made a statement about us, and that story will shock you even more. It's a statement that completely changes the game again, revealing an even more complex web of relationships and dependencies. It proves that we are no longer a passive nation in the global community. We are a driving force. We are a key player, and some of the world's biggest powers are finally starting to realize it. So get ready. The next video is going to take everything we've learned today and turn it on its head. It's going to be a bombshell revelation that you won't believe until you see it. So make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. We're just getting started.